Hi everyone, Vincent for tip line. Let's jump in and take a look at how last week's tickers perform. I'm gonna quickly go through the different charts that our members currently on Telegram are trading. So let's go ahead and jump in. And by the way, happy weekend to everyone. And it's Saturday night. Let's do it. Okay, so AMC had a rough week last night. I'm sorry, last. I'm sorry. AMC had a rough week last week. Um, did I mention it is late here? It's 10:30, so bear with me here as we go through the charts. Okay, so AMC had a rough week last week, thanks to the reverse split 10-1 and also merging of Ape into AMC. All right, so Friday I was expecting this drop to bounce at around 1305. Fortunately, it did not bounce at 1305 as I expected. In fact, it went down a little lower, but not surprising at all because the optimized price for the reversal should have been around 1254, but then they did push it down a little bit further to about 1240. And then in the aftermarket, it stabilized at around 1255. Okay, so it consolidate within this range here. I'm fine with that. Monday is going to be an interesting day because of the payout for the lawsuit to AMC retail investors or investors, period. So what am I expecting next week? Let's take a look on the 10-minute chart. So price is currently hovering around the 20 SMA white line, 8 EMA green line, 3 EMA yellow line, blue line 50 EMA for those who aren't familiar with my charting system or technical analysis setup. So right now it's bouncing at support, which is around 1254 is where the bottom of this harmonic pattern, this butterfly harmonic pattern is supposed to do a quick reversal. So the pattern ended here at 120 on the 25th. Usually I give it about 30 candles for something to happen. It has to happen within 30 candles. In this case, we're sitting at right around 39 candles. Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but you know what? A lot of these candles were in the aftermarket. So if we were to take out, let's see here, just the aftermarket and look at the regular day trading, in fact, we don't have a pattern if we took out the extended hour. Okay, so let's not look at that then. Let's go back to here and look at the extended trading hours. Okay, so that's fine. It's consolidated here at this price range. But normally, what should happen after or within the 30 candle uh, did. So it came down, had a quick reaction up to the XA, which is a ratio within the harmonic pattern. That's just for another discussion. But for now, it came down, complete the pattern, bounce up, came back down, retest this region here, and so it's consolidated, which is fine. I'm like I said, I'm quite happy that it's consolidating at this price range, even though volume is pretty low. So I am expecting, and by the way, if you've not heard me say this, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Um, make sure you do your own due diligence and technical analysis. And this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. So that being said, let's take a look here. So I'm expecting some sort of a movement up. I don't know, something like this, okay? And then eventually at some point it should retrace back to price target one at 1362 and then come back down and then hit price target 1423. I mean, that's what I'm expecting on the 10-minute chart. And then it's probably going to hit resistance here on the 200 SMA on the 10-minute chart at 14.80, which is $1.48. Sad, but that is the current state of where AMC is. Okay, so that's a 10-minute chart. That is what I'm expecting to happen Monday morning. If we revisit the day chart, the 200 SMA white dotted line, my moving averages, the lines will not change. They are going to remain consistent, and at some point I'll put a legend up so that you can follow along. But anyways, 200 SMA is sitting right smack at, guess what? Price target 2, $44 and 69 cents. And guess what? That is around $4.46 right here. And that's where I believe the next resistance level, the big resistance level, is going to be. So the bigger pattern here is this butterfly pattern, harmonic butterfly pattern. And now if we take 30 days, or yeah, 30 candles out, we're looking at September 20, September 26th is when some sort of a price movement must happen for this pattern. There has to be some sort of a big movement by September 26th. Okay, does it make sense? So that being said, there was a very quick reaction after the pattern completed here. So this is the reaction that I was expecting to basically tell me that, hey, this pattern looks pretty good. I mean, there has to be sort of an action, and obviously it should have bounced off at 27.16, which is $2.71, but sadly it did not. Went further down to here, and I'm expecting there's a chance it's going to nail the all-time low, which is 1035. I've already mentioned that before in case you haven't heard it. Um, I keep saying I expect, but there's with AMC you cannot expect anything. This is what the chart is telling me what price action should happen. There's a bunch of gap fill, or I should say a few gap fill that needs to get to coming up. And I like to look at when I'm trading, I like to look at gaps because gaps tell me that um, price moved too quickly during that time and that there needs to be some sort of consolidation and retracement to normalize the price action. So this is where I'm looking at $44 at some point. It needs to come back up for up to here to complete the pattern, or at least attempt to complete the pattern. Okay, that's AMC. Let's move on. VFS. Oh my gosh, this stock is just crazy. I I I'm just kind of blown away at how it's performing, simply because VinFast hasn't really delivered. I mean, probably a, a thousand cars in the United States, right? But but their valuation is currently sitting at $324.59 billion. Granted, there are 2.3 billion shares available, 3 billion total shares, and only 111 million shares is held by insiders, closely held. And guess what? Only 0.01% of the 2.3 billion shares is available for the public to trade. I mean, that's 23 million shares. That's not a whole lot. That's half of what the original AMC float was. So just a quick look at what happened to the SPAC IPO. This is a life on August 9th, spiked up to, oh, hold on a second, spiked up to 22 bucks, right? And then came back down and then gap down again. And and then crazy enough, on the 15th, it gapped up to $39. This was when VFS totally caught my attention. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? I mean, yes, early success, everyone's jumping in, blah, blah, blah. But this was before I did my due diligence and found out that there there's just 23 million shares. Probably want to trade. So then I should have came in when it dropped here at $12. And guess what? That was where the 50 EMA SMA support is, this blue line. And then from that point on, it just went parabolic. Now, if we look at, wow, if you look at this portion here alone, in 5 trading days, VFS or VinFast rocketed up 511.89%. That's $61.76. 61 million volume. That's 3 times the float, essentially. Now, where am I expecting VFS next week? Oh, that's a tough call because I don't know. My guess is at some point, I mean, we all agree that VFS is overvalued, right? For what it's delivering, revenue, whatever. All that due diligence is out the window at this point. And you can't short the stock. There's no options chain. Wait, you can short the stock. There's just no option chains. You can't put puts on VFS. Um, Wait, can you short the stock? I don't know. Someone comment below. I don't know. I'm sure you should, right? You should be able to short the stock. I don't know. Anyways, um, it Friday was crazy. It went up 40%. 40% on Friday alone. That's almost $20. Um, so this is the day chart. There's obviously some gaps. When it comes down, it's going to come down hard at some point. There's this gap here, and then there's this gap here. I mean, we're looking at some pretty decent sized gap here. Okay, and then there's obviously another one down here. So just keep an eye out. When this thing tanks, it's going to tank hard, and I'm looking at hard. Okay, so mind your investment. Um, just looking at the smaller time chart. Let's go back here. Let's clear some of these up. Let's see. Okay, let's look at the 4-hour chart. I really enjoy looking at the 4-hour chart. As of right now, I've got to. I mean, it completed leg 1 down to 2. 2 to 3 for me is all like 2 to 3 is always the most profitable leg, and as you can see, that was 611% up. Wait, 611 or 511? Let me see. Can't remember. In on the 4-hour chart, it's 536%. How did I get it so wrong, really? Oh, you know what? It was because I measured from this low swing up to the high, which is 706%. If you're going from $9.16 up to $73.87. That is just a mind-blowing run. And right now, honestly, it's still riding the 3 EMA, which is this yellow line here. And then every now and then it'll come down and touch the blue line. I'm sorry, the green line, which is the 8 EMA. My trading strategy is if it stays above 8 EMA, stay in the trade until it breaks down. So right now, if I'm in the trade, I'm watching the 3 EMA, how it's respecting that, and how its price is also respecting the 8 EMA. So the next thing I would imagine it's going to do is there's going to be some retracement coming down to meet with the 8 EMA. And if the bears continue to push this stock um, upward, I can expect continued growth. And at some point, it will basically go parabolic. And I mean, right now, it's anyone's guess as to how high VFS is going to go, but just keep in mind, if it hits $120 a share, which is right here, we're looking at about if my math is right, we're looking at about $500 to $600 billion market cap for a tiny little tiny company out of Vietnam. So that's that. Now let's go back and look at the smaller time frame before I move on. Okay, so obviously it had this bearish flag, deep crab, but you know what? It kind of blew that out of the water. So it invalidated it when it jumped above the harmonic optimized pricing at $65.76. Blew it out of the water when it jumped to $73.90. And it came back down, created this triangle, and it broke out of the triangle last Friday, I believe. Yeah, in aftermarket. And it's just still respecting, as you can see here, even on the 10-minute chart, it's still respecting the 3 EMA and it's respecting the 8 EMA. And then this is the 20, and then this is the 50. So if you think of these spaces, right? If you think of these spaces here between the moving averages, this tells me that there is really strong support. Think of these as levitating, pushing up the price and supporting the price movement. So these are the different layers of support that is pushing the price up. And I mean, obviously there's no 200-day moving average or 200 moving average that. Oh yeah, there is. This is a 10-minute chart. So I was thinking that this is the day chart. Um, Look at this. I mean, look at the spacing between the 200, the 50, the 20, the 8, and the 3. I mean, that is like, think of that as strong support pushing the price go further and further up. But also, what goes up must go down. And that to me right now is a concerning factor for VFS. And right now, the 200 is sitting at $51. So if you were to buy in and it just completely knife on you, you're looking at least a 27% drop at some point. Could happen next week, could happen Monday. I don't know, before it retraces back up. So remember, the market is very fractalized. What happens at the smaller time frame fractalizes up to the larger time frames. And right now, the 5-minute chart is also one of my favorite charts to review. I mean, just look at this. Like 1, like 2, like 3, retrace down to like 4 at $63. Consolidated very strong here. And now if leg 5 is to be believed, the 618 is looking at like at $90. The 1.0 extension is at like 107. Remember I told you that if it goes to $120, the market cap is going to be like well over $500 billion. And if it extends to the 1.618, we're looking at $134 per share. Who knows? I don't know. Right now, I mean, to me, I feel like this is like the next HKD, and it could be a runner. Um, but again, you just got to watch it minute by minute and day by day or hour by hour. That is the 5-minute chart. And again, everything is extremely bullish in terms of price relative to all the moving averages: 200, 50, 20, 8, and 3. And this is on the 5-minute chart. And this is where I'm expecting my projection to go if the bulls continue to step in to drive the price up. Okay, all right, TTOO. This is still pending. Everything I'm hearing from one or two other YouTubers is that the CEO apparently has the FDA clearance of some sort. I mean, this is obviously an FDA play. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Pump. Let me repeat that. buy the rumor or buy the news, sell the news. So don't get caught with your pants down. Okay, let's take a step back. When this stock was trading up in this range at around anything above like here, about 50 cents, I already saw this bearish harmonic crab pattern forming. Now keep in mind these patterns take a very long time to precisely develop over time. So they're not random lines that occur in the stock market. This pattern started back in May 22 of 23 and it completed on August 3rd of 23. Okay, so it completed here, tested the low, which is an immediate reaction that I would expect when a pattern completes. Came down, nailed price target 1 and 2 in one shot. I mean, bam. So the Bears just nailed they just nailed the price target 1 and 2. So when you hear me say price target 1 and price target 2, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is those are the two price target. After a pattern completes, I expect this to happen, and then after that, it just rocketed up, and then now it's back down. The one thing that I want to pay attention to early next week, if FDA news does come in, this thing is gonna spike, obviously. But after that, I suspect it's gonna come back down to meet with the 50 EMA. I'm sorry, SMA, the blue line at price target 2, or even below that. It's going to meet some major resistance at about 74 cents. I mean, I don't care how you spin it. The 200-day moving average is going to act as a massive, massive resistance level. Now, if you look at this, doesn't that look like there's a harmonic pattern forming, right? This is a very bullish looking harmonic pattern. So my suspicion is this is going to happen at some point, and once TTOO retraces, just like where AMC is, and just like every other stock that happens in the market, it's going to have a massive bounce. Who knows? We'll see what happens. So that is TTOO on the day chart. I'm going to look at what happens on the 10-minute chart. Let's see. The 4-hour looks like it's got something interesting. Okay, so this is a long-term triangle formation and a falling wedge, just having, just right here, this formation right here, right? So to me, if this is going to break out, it's going to break out around 49 cents, and then with a price target measuring from the bottom of this falling wedge all the way up to the top, and then you project that from the breakout all the way to the top, and you're looking at about 83 cents. Now, if you look at the day chart, and if you look at where the 200 moving average is, that's about 74 cents. So how is it possible if it's going to hit resistance at 200 SMA? Easy. It's going to break it right here. You see this peak right here that I've drawn out here? It's going to break that, but it's going to come back down because a lot of the stocks, when it breaks through the moving average or major resistance level for the first time, normally it rarely ever holds that support. It breaks up, comes down, tests for a couple more times before it can really break through and hold. So think of you standing on the ground floor trying to break the ceiling. The first few times you're not going to succeed, but eventually you'll be able to break through, jump up, and then stand on that on the first floor. That now becomes support. So if you're looking for TTOO to just moon, like a lot of these other influencers are telling you, mind your investment, be careful, don't be greedy, take the win. If you love the stock, you can always reinvest when it retraces. Okay, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but that to me is sound advice, at least for myself when I trade highly volatile stocks. Hey, so you're probably thinking, hey, Vincent, what's going on next Monday morning? What can I expect? All things considered, if the FDA news comes in, again, price is going to escalate rapidly in pre-market because this is trading on the NASDAQ. Again, the company's motivated to get this above $1, or else there's going to be a reverse split to get the price out, and that's not cool. Um, right now, it's it's trading in a bearish environment, right? Because it's for the 10 minute, it's under the 200, and on the day chart, it is also a bearish trading stock because anything under the 200 moving average to me is short territory. Anything above 200, bull territory. That is that to me is kind of a golden rule because that's what's going to keep me out of trouble when it comes to trading. So if I want to come in and scalp a stock that is trading in bear territory on the day chart, I'm not going to hold it long. It's not a stock for me to hold long. So let's look at the 5 and the 10-minute chart. 5-minute, 10-minute chart isn't very exciting. Um, I mean, it's already hit this top range, the bottom two, nailed the bottom price here. It's at the top range at 37 cents. If Monday morning comes, and whether it's pre-market or regular trading schedule, if it breaks above 37, I would say that it's going to be able to break the 200 and then price target at about 39 cents, 40 cents, and then come back down and test the 200 and then consolidate if it's strong enough. Now, does the 5-minute chart support that? Let's take a look. Sorry about the mess. There's just a lot of lines here. Yeah, so right now, I mean, I I love this. I mean, every time I see price hovering above the every time I see price hovering above the 200 and the 20 like this tells me that that is super bullish. And then the 50 is down here. I mean, if you look at where the 50 is relative to the the smaller moving averages, there's that space again between the 50 and the 20 and the 3 and the 8, pushing it up, giving it support. Think of it as like a magnet pushing it up, or just hot air just pushing it up. If this spinning top right now, it's just buyers and sellers are just on the fence at this 5-minute time chart because everyone's waiting to see, hey, dude, is the CEO going to release that FDA report or information that everyone's waiting on? Should there isn't news coming out or there's bad news, price will open at 37 cents and then just tank. This is the next support, or it could even go down to 34 cents or even lower. If price, if news comes out and it's good, then I would expect on the 5-minute chart to quickly extend beyond the 618, the 1 and the 168, all the way up into the 40 to 41 cents. That's TTOO. Okay. Do what you will with it. Very, I don't even know what to say about very. Other than the fact that there's a lot of pain coming for very and the stock price. I've said this for about 2 weeks now that there's some major retracement coming in order to finish this pattern. This is I've got this drawn out. Leg 1, leg 2, leg 3. Again, when I said 2 to 3 extension is always your biggest profit level. So in this case here for Fury, 703%. It started on March 22nd, 23, and it ended 3 months later on June 16, 23. I mean, I'm sorry, but a dollar 85. hang on a second, sorry, $1.85 and 703%. And if you didn't take profit, I mean, I would have at least taken chunks and chunks and chunks off because guess what? Lake 2 to 3 is going to complete, and it did, right? It completed at the top and it retraced from there down by 45%. I mean, that's not a huge retracement, but it's enough to put a dent in your portfolio versus, at least for me, if I took profit, bought back in, if I really love the stock, and then look at what happened. Like 4 to 5 to complete this pattern was 113% up. I mean, that is the cycle. 1 to 2, 2 to 3. I'm sorry, 0 to 1, 1 to 2 down, 2 to 3 up, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. And now, if you remember this this knife here, right, on the day chart, the company at the 50 SMA decided to do an offering, right? I mean, they decided to do an offering, just knife the next 3 days, and then I, if I was a fly on the wall, I would suspect that the executives were saying some explicit words as price was approaching on 810, approaching the 200 SMA. Remember when I said price, when a stock trades below the 200-day moving average, it is in bear territory. The algorithm just flips to just do nothing but short the stock every chance it gets. So guess what? On the morning of the 14th, Monday morning, there was a PR news that came out and said, "Hey, we're sorry. We realized what we effed up, and now we're stopping the offering." Guess what? It saved them for a little bit, and then there were some insider buying price a little bit above where it was trading at 15,000 shares or something like that, and it was moving on. My opinion, that's not going to save Dairy one iota because guess what? If you understand market structure, look what's happening. Massive knife down from 5 to A, bounce off of the 200. Thank goodness because they stopped the offering, or else I was expecting the the retracement of 618, like last week, like during the week of the 14th. 618 retracement right here to 36 cents. And I was calling it the whole time. It's inevitable that it's still going to happen regardless of what they're trying to do here, because look at what's happening. When I tell my traders that when price moves below the 8 EMA, which is the green line here, I'm out. I'm out. That is the first signal that tells me that the bears are about to take control. And look what happened. The company had insider buying at a very high price, trying to save the stock price, and it didn't happen. Didn't happen on the 23rd, and then on the 24th it closed. Well, on the 23rd, I was watching on the 22nd because it was still open. It still closed above the 8 EMA, but then on the 23rd it closed below it. If I was in the stock, I'm out. And then there was a doji on the 24th. And my rule for doji is if price opens the next trading candle, whether it's a 5-minute chart, 2-minute chart, 1-day chart, I don't care. In this case, it's a 1-day chart. If price opens above and trades above the price of the doji, then yes, the trend is going to continue in that path. Unfortunately for Veri, it gapped down from the closing price of $1.21 on the 24th, and then on the 25th it opened $1.19 and it just drove it down to like $1.15, and then finally closed at about $1.18. So guess what's going to happen? I see this following the 3 EMA all the way down, breaking the 200, unless there's major news coming in, and then completing the cycle at the 618 retracement. So 1 to 5, 5 to C. That is the life cycle of Veri. It's gonna happen, folks. I'm certain of it because guess what? Same thing with AMC. Price started at $10. Let's see, sorry, low of 1035, and look where price is at today. Close of Friday, 12, 12 well, low of 1239. So there's still $2 more to go, and then this is pre-price is like $1.20, right? It's gonna happen. The cycle starts and it ends. And if you're in Viri right now, if you're gonna stick with it, I would expect this big level retracement. Okay, I know some of my traders are also in NVOS. NVOS day chart is really interesting because this is such an amazing chart because, I mean, wow, just look at this. Harmonically, this is a crab pattern. Started on May 30th of 23, and then cycled through, completed on the 8th of August. With the crab, I was expecting it to drive further down and to at least hit the harmonic optimized pricing at 6 cents. And as soon as it did that, I mean, look at this. There is no coincidences when it comes to harmonic pattern technical analysis. It is extremely precise. In this case, price came down, slightly broke through the low, and then guess what? It gapped up. Gapped up again, nailed the two, just basically skyrocketed up to 24 cents. What does that run from the bottom if you were trading this? Let's see. That's a massive 261%. Congratulations to all my traders who nailed this run. Good for you. So basically, in let's see, 1 day, 2 days, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, it nailed price target 1 and 2. Right here, price target 1 and 2. You're gonna hear me speak or mention price target 1 and 2 quite a bit based on the ratio of the pattern that formed to the left of it. And so now, what am I expecting? The pattern to cycle down, right? So you've got like 1, 2, whatever, and then this is leg, in my opinion, this is leg 2 to 3, right here, 2 to 3. And then guess what? 3 to 4 is going to bounce around somewhere around here, right? And then hopefully the 200 at 15 cents is going to act as support. And then 3 to 4, I'm sorry, 4 to 5, and then expect a retracement. Again, M and W's, right? If you just completed a bullish pattern, guess what the next repeating pattern is going to probably be? An M formation, a bullish pattern, a bearish pattern. Bear is going to short from up here, come down from 5 to A, and then the cycle starts over again. That's the big picture. Now, what about what's going to happen intraday next week? Okay, so intraday, I'm looking at on the 10-minute chart. Okay, so I'm watching for this breakout here on this falling wedge at 17 cents right here on the 10-minute chart. If there's volume and if there's enough buying, it should break up might hit the 200 resistance level on the 10-minute chart here. If this fails, which right now it's looking really good because the price is above the 328 and the 50. It's literally respecting the 50 SMA, which is the blue line. But should it fail, expect it to come back down to test this region again. It's not terrible. Two cents isn't bad. If you're scalping or you're swinging in this. Okay. That's end loss. Let's see. GTI. Oh, GTI. Lovely. Another one. I'm not gonna spend much time on this just because it's not doing anything right now. Um, I saw this coming, and it was a freight train wreck that was unforeseen. I mean, it was foreseeable, right? So again, I look at the day chart. I always look at the day chart to see if the price movement has been able to break above the 8 EMA. As long as it's below the 8 EMA with support to the 3 EMA, it's still bear territory. Still bear territory. Still got some ways to go, and try to do it on Friday, but sadly got rejected and pushed back down to the 3, which is at 66 cents. Yep, 66 cents. So guess what? It's probably going to come back down and then come back up to retest again. So that's just GTII. I mean, unfortunately, finger is very popular, I guess, among some of the traders. Um, 4 hour chart, right? I called the 370 price 2 weeks ago, maybe on FNGR. In my opinion, it's probably going to hit it before any further movement should take place. Right now, again, on the 4 hour chart here, price closed below the 8. At this point, I'm already starting to like, hey, Monday morning, if prices back bounce up above 435, I'm probably going to consider getting out because guess what? It's going to respect the 3 and then bam, 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 all the way down. Nail this and then do a quick bounce up. This, don't get me wrong. I mean, this is not a bearish chart. This harmonic pattern is actually a very bullish pattern. It's a bullish Gartley, which is a very reliable harmonic pattern. But the issue is, oh, let's see the time here. Let's see. Usually 30 candles. How many candles are we at? We're at 15. There's still 15 more candles for something to happen. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited to see FNGR run, just not right now because there's still going to be more drawdown, right? I don't have confirmation on my oscillators yet. Hang on a second. Oh, you know what? Let me do this. 4 hour. Okay, here we go. All right, so my oscillator on the 4 hour tells me that, you know what? I don't have confirmation yet. The price is still very early. It needs to come down into the oversold and then bounce out of the oversold. Same here. It needs to come down, bounce out of the oversold before price movement can occur. And guess what? That lines up with the price chart. Bam. Here's the hop, and then price target 1 and 2. Looking at 502 and 546, respectively. That's the 4 hour chart. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone's holding this long right now, just waiting for this thing to squeeze. Um, it's just not worth scalp playing right now because the volume is extremely low and the liquidity is not there. All right, I think I need to move along quicker because I'm taking too long. MMAT, you know what? It nailed price target 2, price target 1. Good for you, MMAT. But then again, as you can see here, with pairing it up with the oscillator, it got nearly oversold up here in this price, and then it got smacked back down, right? So I'm expecting, MMAT to retrace to at least 20 cents, just like the oscillator shows here, before we can figure out what it's going to do next. Same with the second one here. Okay? Quick overview on MMAT. All right, ASPR. Volume's too low. It's nothing worth talking about. Actually, I'm going to remove that from the chart. VTNG. Yeah, volume's too low on that. I'm not even going to deal with it. RCRT. God, really? Volume is that low? You should be trading stocks with volume this low, guys. There's no liquidity here. But then it did gap down here on this day chart. I don't see a pattern. Gonna remove this from the chart. Top, 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 top. Same. Top's got decent, decent trading volume. But remember what I told you about when price falls below the 200 SMA on the day chart, it's in bearish territory right now. I mean, this was your MOAS right here. This was your MOAS. 831%. I I mean, 831%. That is an effing MOAS. If you didn't profit up here or at least at the 200-day moving average, I can't help you. Okay? As of right now, guess what? It's doing exactly what I've been showing you. Right? It's going to do something like that. Okay? You're going to see this theme a lot. M and W. Okay? My charts are going to show that quite a bit. Okay, so that's top NIO. Same here. It's consolidating right above the 200-day moving average. I mean, this again from, leg one, retrace leg two. I mean, to me, this is almost, that was your peak right here for Neo, 108%. That was your peak. And look, it retraced. The drawdown took almost about the same amount of time, 15 trading days. Now, the question is, over next week, you want to see if the 200 is going to hold. From the oscillator, I think it might retrace back down a little bit here. It's going to bounce around, retrace. It could probably come back up. It's, when you see this W formation in the oscillator, and I'll touch more on this later, that means that it's going to bounce around in this lower region longer. Expect longer retracement along this area. Okay. NIO. PRST, same. PRST, notice the same chart. I can't make this stuff up, people. Look, same chart. That is your MOAS. Take the win, right? Take the win. 200 acting as support, resistance, who knows? For bears, it's resistance. For bulls, it's support. Watch for what happens here. Unlike NIO, the oscillators are pointing downward. That tells me that it's heading back down to the oversold, the oversold territory before the next action. Okay, AMD. I'm gonna skip that. I'm just not terribly excited about that. Lunar, same. I don't even know why you're trading this. In my opinion, it's just bear territory. There's hardly any price movement. Not a lot of volume. I'm gonna remove that. Edible, massive bear territory. Look at where the 200 is relative to where the price is. It's not tradable unless you're scalping. Even if you're scalping, you're looking at 25% up and then about 20% down. In 3 days. I'm gonna remove that. That to me shows that it's not an A plus trade for me. KULR, it's trying to break above the 200, right? It's acting as massive resistance for the bulls. I mean, this candle was 2.2 million shares, got a ton of fuel pushing up, broke the 200, and then got massively rejected the next day. And it just, as soon you notice here, right, above the 8 EMA, as soon as price fell below the 8 EMA, respected the 3 and just gradually, I mean, massively declined by, let's see here, top down 41%. 41%. This is where the win was. If you had lucky enough to buy here, that's a 47% gain. And again, there's no pattern. I don't like trades that doesn't have a pattern for me to at least measure where things are going. I don't like that. All I can tell is there's going to be more drawdown based on what I'm seeing with the oscillator before anything can happen on both of these. Okay. All right. VTVT. Oh, this looks like AMC. Doesn't that look like AMC? I mean, I just wanted to vomit in my mouth when I see something like this. This invalidated the ABC bullish pattern. This was this was it broke structure right at the conclusion of this pattern and this rectangle formation that started back in November 4th of 22. Dang, that's a long time. And it just broke structure right here. Unfortunately, it knifed down from the break of structure to by like 26%. What are we expecting? I mean, if AMC is any indication, after it breaks down, right? AMC, um, VTVT. Wait, was it VTVT? Yeah, or cooler. Is it cooler? No, we're done with cooler. VTVT. I mean, look at that. I mean, this is almost a setup for a bear flag, right? Bear flag. I mean, this is a resting state, and then it just terrible bear flag that's forming. So watch watch for more downside there. SNDL, again, I'm not excited about this stock for so many reasons. It's still trading in bear territory under 200 SMA. I mean, what is it gonna take to break above this? Probably more time. At some point, the price is gonna it's gonna consolidate to a point where we'll come here and then price will match up and then you'll get some sort of an attempt to break above the 200 moving day average and get maybe, I would say, what's the next peak here? If you look over to the left, price target 1 and 2, probably $2.09 at some point, or maybe below that at this peak, this other high at about $1.97 at some point, like way, 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 way down the road, if that's even possible. CNN, uh, again, this stock has already peaked because it's a bearish pattern, retrace all the way down. I mean, after you're seeing me go through all these tickers, I hope that you're seeing the pattern of how they are all essentially the same movement, right? You got the spike, you get up, spike down, formulates a pattern, and then rinse and repeat. That's how the market works. Um, this is down 45% after it hit terminal up here. It didn't hit the harmonic optimized pricing, but it did hit terminal, which is where the pattern ended, and then from there it just went down. So it, not only shorts were able to nail price, not only shorts or the bears were able to nail price target 1 at this neck lying at 39 cents. They were able to push it down to price target 2 at 30 cents. And then they're like, what the heck with it? We got momentum. Let's bring it all the way down to the bottom of this trend line, the falling wedge at 27 cents. at this momentum, if you look at how the price bounces between the A and the sorry, the A and let's change this to something else. Yeah, yeah, it was terrible. Let's do green. I mean, we all want our stocks to go green, right? Yep. As long as you see there's even spacing between price and the 8 and the 3, guess what? Unless something happens to change that trajectory, it's still going to continue to go down until it hits something, until something happens. In this case, we're looking at a bottom at 26 cents. And hell, if they have momentum, if crappy news comes out, their intention is to drive the price lower into the ground, into zero territory, so that they don't have to cover their shorts. That's the hard truth. So yeah, I'm gonna delete CNN because in my opinion, it's not worth me spending time on. Volume on INZY. I mean, there's just no volume, but there is a pattern here, and it's at the hop, which is the harmonic optimized pricing, which is where things should reverse, and it's looking like it is on the day chart. Um, but it's just weak volume. It's going to hit a 50 SMA resistance at $5.42. I just don't see good things happening here. Again, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is what I'm interpreting from the chart. Okay. That being said, it is still in the bull territory because it's above the 200. So what do you think is going to happen? If I was a betting person, or in this case, stock trader, I suspect that price will bounce at the 200 SMA right here, right? I mean, what did I say about everything coming to a completion? What does that not look like an MTU? Yep, it sure does. Harmonic patterning works. It's going to bounce off of the 200. Now look at Veri, right? Same thing with Veri. And then now look at INZY. Same pattern, people. Same pattern. I mean, this is the cycle. What I'm showing you is the cycle. And then what do you do when you see a cycle? You decide within the intraday if you want to take a scalp or a swing trade, right? So if I swing trade something, I always look at the 1 hour chart and project where I think things are going. If I was looking at ANZY, I would not take a long position. Why? Because look at the price. Price 3 hours ago, it started closing below the 8 EMA, and it's now respecting the 3 EMA. So shorts nailed the price target 1 on August 25th at 484. Okay. And then here, they nailed it again and closed at 482. So what do you think is going to happen in the next few hours? Duh, they're going to drive it down. Everything happens in threes to 474 at a minimum. At a minimum. At least that's my interpretation. And that's why these patterns are amazing. It works off of the golden ratios of 618, 1618, 318, you name it. The Fibonacci sequence. They make up life. And that's what I use for my technical analysis. All right, enough of my ranting on INZY. AMGN, I don't even know why this chart is on my list. But I'll take a look at it anyway. All right, so apparently on the day chart, by the way, let's go back and look at the day chart, the day chart before we look at the hour chart. Okay. Ooh, wow. Right, you're seeing the pattern here, my friends. Okay, so apparently IMGN was pumped here along this area. It should already retrace to the 618. You can tell when a stock is pumped by by seeing that it defies what it's supposed to do. I mean, this is what the stock should have done right here, right? But instead, the 200-day, the 20 moving average saved it, bounced up, and then just lost steam, and it just dropped. See, it should have dropped on this first wave, but instead, bulls came in, pumped it up. I mean, you can tell it's pumped up because the volume is lower, and then at some point, once it hit wave of, let's see, 4 to 5, it just crashed all the way down. And now 5 to A is the big drop. That is, or was, 33%. And then wave A to B and then B to C. If it respects the 618, I'm looking at 1238. If it's just going to go full blown one, we're looking at right where the 200 day moving average is. It's at like 993. Now, if there's momentum, they could push it. They could retrace it down 1618 to 569. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I am saying that again, price has to come to a completion. Okay, so I need to move along. This is getting way too long. PDSB, oh, I'm just going to skip this. Chart does not look exciting. Low volume of 349,000. Delete that. X4, or let's see, at least bring it up. Yeah, this is already retraced way too much. Point C. So this is actually, this is actually an interesting one. So you've got, I'll draw this out for you. Some tea first, or coffee, or whatever this is. Okay, so you've got 0 to 1, 1 to 2, which created this pattern here, this bearish alternate bat. Then 2 to 3 form the completion leg for this pattern, right? 3 to 4 bounce off of the 20 SMA, completed at leg 4 to 5 between the XA and the harmonic optimized pricing between 246 and 268. See how the patterns coming together here? These are all ratios that the patterns have to respect within the price movement. So that being said, there was this falling wedge that got formed from 5 to A, came up A to B, tested the top of this wedge, and then came back down. Oh my gosh. Where have we seen this pattern before? Right? I mean, were we not saying that Viri was going to do something like this? Right? I mean, this is Viri. Bam. 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5A, B up here, and guess what? C is here, right? Look where the 200-day moving average is, 81 cents. Oh, 618, 36 cents. Now let's look at this guy. Look where C is, right below the 200-day moving average. So that is the completion of 1 to 5 and 5 to C. And guess what? Now it's going to make its way back up to the 200-day moving average to test this area again. If things go bad, it's probably going to get rejected and come back down and just stay below the bear territory. So once a stock falls below the 200-day moving average on the day chart, it's going to be stuck there for a while because the algorithm gets flipped from being bullish to being bearish. Same with Viri. This is why the executives were freaking out when it nailed the 200 right to the penny on August 11th at 78 cents. They did everything in their power. Well, I'm sure they can do more to not allow the price action for Viri to fall below the 200. Bad things happen. It's like It's like, what is that? Is it How I Met Your Mother? Nothing good happens after 2 a.m. I mean, nothing good happens after your stock price falls below the 200-day moving average. Okay, enough of that. All right, CTM. Oh, I'm just gonna get rid of this. 35,000 volume. Come on, people. Pick better stock to trade. This is what are you doing? There's no volume, no liquidity. AGBA, I'm getting rid of that. 309. WDL, WDS, 81,000. Yep, you're gone. Moni. You know what? This is from another pumper. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm not gonna push that. SONN. Hey, I love you guys on my trading group in my trading community, but you know what? SONN is another one of those stock that was pumped. I know a lot of people lost money. Yes, there's some movement here. Low volume, I'm gonna ignore it. It's just, to me, it's not something I want to discuss. MCRB, again, it's like prices below the 3, below the 8, below the 20, below the 50, below the 200. Come on, people, this is bad, right? I mean, if you hadn't gotten out like here, then I don't know what you're doing. You need to reassess your management, I guess. But again, this is one of those things where you've got the movement of 0 to 1. Here, I'll draw this out. I mean, this, I hope this will hit home for you. 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and just look at this. Like, I mean, that's like gut wrenching drop. 5 to C, C to B, and then look at this. B to C to complete the pattern, right? I mean, they take you along the ride for a ride. If you are bear, this is your money making opportunity from 5 to 8. If you were a bull, you want to go from 2 to B, right? If you're a bull, you want to nail 2 to B, 2 to 3, which is 127%. If you're a bear, and you want to short the hell out of this stock, you want to go from 5 to 8. That's 49%. This is how this is the market, people. This is, if you understand this basic concept, you could time for a better entry, whether you're a bear or a bull. Okay. All right. So that's MCRB. CSM. I just want to vomit in my mouth. I mean, it is sitting at pretty much. It's setting all-time low. No, I take that back. Yeah, it is actually setting all-time low. $1.11. There's some split back here, right? That just drove the price up. Unfortunately, it just a drawdown from there. I, extremely, 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 extremely bearish. Um, I Let me look at the oscillator. I don't even know what to say with COSM. How did it even get on my list? This is just. Oh, you know what? I think I was looking at the split and trying to see if there was going to be any correlation with AMC. Yeah, I'm going to remove COSM. We're not going to talk about that. MRES. Ooh, ooh, this is interesting. Okay, all right. It's like someone was definitely pumping MRES, I think. I don't usually like to talk about pump stocks, but I know a lot of you are in it. This is interesting because, let's see, Friday it had about 1.78 million shares traded. So I would look at the neckline to be about 0.014. I mean, it's not moving that big. I mean, I just hate these sub penny stocks because you can just get F so easily. But it is sitting above the 200. I mean, this could be a $100 stock, 1 penny stock. I don't care. As you can see, the chart are all the same, right? So it's been trading above the 200 at about 1 penny and change. Dipped down, the bull stepped in, drove the price up above the 200 for whatever reason that happened. Um, I see I mean, I'm already seeing similar pattern here. If you're following me, you should see the pattern too, right? So what am I expecting? I'm expecting this to drop below the 200 SMA to complete the pattern before it can reset again. Start and in. And speaking of starting in, I've gone way too long, and I'm just going to close it here. Have a great weekend. I hope this helps. Please comment below. Let me know what you think. If you find this information useful, helpful, like, subscribe. Shoot me an email to tipline@gmail.com. Um, I'm setting up our new Discord, moving Telegram over. Let me know if you're interested in participating in our trading community. Vincent for Tipline. Have a good night and a good weekend. I'm out.